Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome to Sound of Drop Fall into Poison. A weird name to be sure, but I've heard some good things about this. I think this game hasn't been in English too long. I don't even know actually much more about it other than that it's a short horror visual novel. Short being not like, half an hour, but short being not that long. And apparently I was told there's like 4 good endings and a lot of bad endings. And to tell you the truth, I got pretty intrigued because not only did I get told about this by a friend in real life who likes visual novels, but then somebody just randomly on the exact same day was recommending it to me in the comments section of one of the other videos. So I was intrigued, to say the least. So I think we can get ready to start. I've been told it's a little bit horrific, but I think that might be exciting. So let's begin. Before she realized it, the girl was standing before an imposing door. The girl occasionally came to Manton Aquarium alone. She watched the manta rays. She watched the jellyfish. And finally she decided it was time to go home. Yeah, this music tells me it's time to go home. Where is this? She had her doubts, but there should be nothing else there except for the aquarium. She assured herself that she had probably wandered off into a side path. The door before her had a large padlock hanging from it. Just as she had heard, it was unlocked and merely dangling there. The girl drew in a breath. Being locked would usually mean that it was a place she shouldn't enter. Being open just meant that a staff member had forgotten to lock it, so going in was out of the question. Her curiosity piqued, she was past the point of persuasion. Her imagination ran wild, and her mind raced to the prospect of what might lie beyond the door. Just for a little bit. She opened the door and saw lots of glass tanks. Several types of fish hailing from the deep seas, from football fish and oarfish to pelican eels and barrel eyes, were swimming about. Why isn't this an exhibit? She thought it over, wondering why this would be in a closed-off area. This music is deeply unsettling, I like it. Behind her, the door shut on its own. It's this weird balance between being deeply unsettling and being absolutely hilarious. The girl spaced out, staring at the deep-sea fish swimming about. They would leap from the tank and swim in midair. The entirety of the room was the fish in their ocean. Though it was an unnatural occurrence, the girl treated it as quite normal. Wasn't there originally a deep sea fish booth that was shut down? Don't mind me, I just have my veins on the screen. She suddenly remembered. At that moment, her surroundings were dyed a deep red. The water in the tanks, the fluorescent lights, all of it was red. The girl's vision also became red. When she opened her eyes, the girl was back in her own room. It was well into the night. She couldn't remember how she had gotten home after all that. But more importantly, she had a bad feeling about something else. It isn't red here. She became aware of how hard it suddenly was to breathe. No matter how hard she gasped, she was unable to get oxygen into her body. Like the fish who couldn't breathe anywhere but in the water. She couldn't breathe unless she was inside that red color. She was convinced. On impulse, she threw open the window, leaned out and thrust a hand outside. She couldn't inhale the wind flooding her room. She could only smell its milky, unpleasant scent. More. That moment, the girl's body was tossed into the air. For a second, her body seemed to float like a fish in the sea. Her room was on the 12th floor of her apartment building. In her fading consciousness, the girl watched her blood flow endlessly from her body. It's red. Congratulations. Only then could she breathe. Now everything would be fine. I don't think she actually I don't think she actually needs the red blood. I think she's just delirious from all the bleeding. The girl smiled. The full moon in the night sky smiled too. How's that for an intro? Spooky demon girl's like, yes, my blood. Yes, I love it. Makes me feel so good. Drip, drip. The sound of falling drops. The moon was concealed behind the clouds, and all of the lights in the town were covered in water. The sound of it the only thing left to resonate. She couldn't tell whether it was hot or cold, merely that the humid air was encircling her. Drip, drip. Wherever they were falling to, wherever they were coming from, the drops just continued to trickle out. That single drop, I stopped it with both hands. And it turned into blood! Blood! The sound of that solitary red drop. Oh, good. I was just in anime school. You know, just one of those red drop blood poison dreams you have with your anime friends. Or at least there's an urban legend that goes like that. Talking about Manton Aquarium again. That's your new thing, isn't it? While stuffing her lunch into her mouth, Tamagawa, Hino, oh gosh, I'm bad with Japanese names, spoke, her eyes sparkling. I had no idea which point in the story got her so excited. That's right. Isn't this the scariest part? The girl jumped to her death smiling. After coming back from, let me get that out of the way, Manton Aquarium. It's pretty bad. Yet you don't seem the least bit scared, Himeno. That's not true. I've got chills running down my spine. Someone who's got chills running down her spine wouldn't be eating a pastry so cheerfully. I heard there were anime girls in this too. That got me excited. And hey, that's my meatball! During a break in the conversation, Himeno stole a side dish from my boxed lunch. This minced meat from growing calves and little piglets, it's the best! Why do you have to put it like that? Jeez! Why do you have to make me lose my appetite? I'll give you the rest of it. Alright, I'll take it! Himeno takes the rest of the meatballs for my lunch with amazing rhythm. The reason that Nakanobi, Mayumi, lost my appetite wasn't... Oh wait, so is our character... Mayumi? It wasn't because Himeno's story scared me. Manton Aquarium and I are connected in a way that I'd rather not think about. Of course, Himeno has no idea about that connection. If she knew, she'd never mention Manton Aquarium around me again. At the same time, I've been afraid that this thing might cause Himeno to stop talking to me. Himeno is pretty much my only friend. It isn't that I haven't talked to anyone since entering junior high. It's just that the only person I can actually call a friend is Himeno. So basically we're a nerd. Good to know. Seriously, I think this whole Manton Aquarium rumor obsession is getting to be a bit much. Maybe, but there's so many rumors though. Like that there's a man's ghost in the tanks, that the deep sea fish booth is only open on a full moon, that the water changes into blood, or that you can hear crying from behind the tanks. Ah, that earlier one goes to this one. Also, no, that's fine, you don't need to say anymore. I say firmly, causing Himeno to make a sour face. Soon after, Himeno changes the subject, first to a TV drama that aired the night before, then to some cute fake nails with cats on them that she found in a magazine. She then talks about a classmate who is dating a boy from a nearby private school, alighting on one subject before quickly changing to the next. Normally, the subject of Manton Aquarium shouldn't have popped up again. Anyway, getting back to what we were talking about earlier. Huh? What exactly are we getting back to? Manton Aquarium. I looked into it, and this Sunday will be a full moon. Huh? That was all I could say. The rest of my words unable to come out. So we should go and see if the rumors are true or not. But I know you aren't interested in stuff like urban legends, Mayu. But next week we'll start preparing for the end of the semester, and I won't be able to hang out with you. Lately we haven't gone anywhere together, have we? And we won't after we go to the blood aquarium. If the full moon was next Sunday, I'm sure Hino wouldn't have said anything. But I suspect because it happens to be this Sunday and next week happens to be our exam, she's chosen Manton Aquarium. I know that I'm not hiding my confusion or my hesitation very well. Even so, Himeno turns her carefree grin my way. Since it's an aquarium, even if the rumors aren't true, we can still have fun, right? Well, that's true. Usually anywhere I go with Himeno, I have fun. Whether or not we have fun was not what I was worried about. By the way, Mayu, in the east building, can you shut up about this aquarium? Gosh. In the east building of Manton Aquarium, they have Häagen-Dazs. As in the Eden restaurant? They had closed up at one point, but it looks like they're reopening for a limited time. Okay, that's weird. Really? Really? They have the cookies and cream flavor you like too, Mayu. Of course I hesitate, but in the end that settles it. Food is the real decider. Then we'll go, as long as we definitely get some cookies and cream. Saying you have no money because you did too much shopping is out of the question. I know. After all, I'm something of a glutton myself. Fine. In the end, we settle on Manton Aquarium and ice cream for Sunday. Since I've already received my reward money for moving on to the next grade, I don't need to worry about my allowance. Still, it's been 5 years. Did you say something, Mayu? Nope, nothing. Going to be real cryptic about it. I bite my tongue, covering the words I'd carelessly spilled out. I'm looking forward to the aquarium. It's probably been about 10 years. I'm looking forward to the cookies and cream. It's probably been about 10 years. That's not true. It's the truth. That's the only thing I'll eat there. Himeno goes, "You little," as she playfully stretches my cheeks. The end of lunchtime sounds, and Himeno goes back to her own seat. If it's with Himeno, I'll be fine. That's what I told myself at the time. That's what I told myself at the time. Dum bum bum. Oh man, we're getting right into it, aren't we? Sunday's 3 days after that. The day I promised to go with Himeno to Manton Aquarium has arrived. At least we didn't have to go through like stupid, anime school. We are to meet at noon at the Manton Show station. As it is customary for me, I arrived 30 minutes early. Leaning against a pillar, I do nothing but space out. Tons of people pass by before me. Manton is really crowded on days off. Even so, there aren't really that many families or groups of students. Everyone around me appearing to me adults. Because of that, I'd quickly begin to feel uneasy. I'm not really used to having a visual novel where the main character wasn't like... I don't know. She feels very disconnected from the reader, if that makes sense. Within, the third person, that's the word I'm looking for. Within this crowd, I am alone. Inexplicably, my head begins to hurt. I wonder if Himeno will be here soon. I mutter to myself, then look at my shoes. Deep blue sandaled boots that were this year's newest product. When Mom and I had stopped off at a department store on Saturday, she bought them for me after some coaxing on my part. They were far from what you'd call high quality, but they were still a bit pricey in a junior high schooler's allowance. I'm not usually the type to beg, but I couldn't take my eyes off these boots. My mom bought them with almost no resistance, saying, "You're going out of town, so you need to look your best." I liked both their form and their color, and found them a better fit for the summer season than anything else. I take my cell phone out and check the time. There's still 15 minutes to go until we're to meet. Since Hino's always 3 minutes later than the time we establish, I've got about another 20 minutes. I finished reading my paperback on the train, so I have nothing to kill time with. There's nothing I can do about it, so if I decide to keep myself from boredom by watching people pass by, if I don't keep myself distracted, horrible thoughts will revive in my mind. I'm always worried about what will happen if I'm late, though. It had actually been about a month and a half since Hino and I had gone out. We always talked at school, but rarely spent time together afterwards. Anyone who saw us probably thought we were opposites. Outings like this aside, I often spend my days off at home. When I was in elementary school, our family would go out often, but lately that's been limited to dining out on Saturdays. So when I'm asked what I do when I stay at home, I usually say I do nothing. Doing homework and watching TV is stuff that seems pretty common to me. On the other end of the spectrum is Hino, who goes out regularly. I often hear stories of when she went to karaoke on weeknights, or about how she traveled out of town on Sundays. She's a member of an active sports club, and often wants to hang out with them afterwards. Going out of town on the already limited days we have off tends to make me think, even though it's a day to rest, I don't feel rested at all. That's right, that's exactly how I feel. In other words, something like this is a difference between Hino and I. Without much common ground between us, why we became friends is... Suddenly the light fades from my vision. It wasn't just that it had become dark, but that I had the sensation of being unable to breathe. Oh, better slit my throat again, but rather than sweating it, I get a little mad. Yeah. Sorry. Hearing my wordless protest, Hino pulled her hands away. I get playing the who am I game while covering someone's eyes, but covering up someone's mouth was just too like Hino. When I puff out my cheeks and object, Hino just smiles at me. It's because you were staring into space, Mayu. Oh. Instead of apologizing, Hino blew on the nape of my neck. Okay, oh gosh, is this gonna turn Yuri? Without thinking, I made a weird sound. Embarrassed, I looked around 2 or 3 times, but the pedestrians walking by seemed unperturbed and didn't even look our way. The culprit who had surprised me moves in front of me before I realize it. You're mean, Hino. But I got to hear something good. No, you didn't. Moreover, you're... As I say that, I check the time on my smartphone. It's 3 minutes to noon, our agreed upon meeting time. It's not time yet. How rare. That's rude, jeez. I'll make you make a weird noise again. Saying that, Hino opens and closes her fingers in small, swift grasping motions. At times like this, I know I had better change the subject, or get messed with by Hino again. Oh, by the way, did you buy a new one? You mean my necktie? Yes, I did. I thought I should get one to match my shorts. You and I haven't hung out since around midterms, Mayu. If I buy something today, I'll really be out of money. What about the aquarium? You're still set on finding out about the urban legends then? Of course! That's my #1 goal. But as usual, I can't count the things I want to do on just one hand. Okay, I get it. As long as I eat cookies and cream, that is absolute. I haven't forgotten. Anyway, Mayu, aren't your sandals new? Oh gosh. Boring girl talk, Hino says as she looks at my feet, talking about 3 times as fast as she does in class. Yeah, nice, aren't they? They're super cute. How cool, I want a pair too. Nope, then we'll be too similar. And these are the only pair of sandals I have for the summer. Talking like this, it puts me at ease. Unlike myself who's childish, Hino knows a lot about fashion and trends. Even here in Manton, it seems like she blends in. Most importantly by being with Hino and constantly chatting. I no longer feel lonely. Oh yeah, Hino, why did you bring such a huge bag? I'm glad you asked. With a hee-hee, Hino opens the Boston bag she'd let sink down from her shoulder. A variety of things come out, such as a flashlight, insect repellent, a simple blanket, a first aid kit, matches, and snacks like chocolate and cookies. What is all this? Hino, where do you plan on going? Ignoring the twitch developing in my face, Hino thumps her chest. Geez, to the aquarium. But since we're investigating urban legends, we should at least have some supplies. Rather than an investigation, the equipment she has reminds me more of going camping in the mountains. The snacks and blankets aside, where in a city this size would we need insect repellent or a flashlight? I keep those feelings to myself and just smiled. I let out a breath that is half exasperated, half amused. I don't get sick of being with Hino. Whether Hino is aware of my exasperated gaze or not, she starts to take something out, then quickly shoves it back in. She gives me a smile implying some secret. No wait, it's too soon for you to see that. What were you about to pull out? I'm not telling. Upon saying that, Hino quickly closes the bag. The way I see it, it's a wonder she fits all the supplies she had out just a moment ago. I wonder where it's all being stored. By the way, no club today? I asked with the underlying question of whether or not today is a day off for the club. At my question, Hino averts her eyes. Nope, probably no club today. Really? Giving a brief answer, I start walking. Upon hearing her reply, I immediately understand it as, she skipped it again. But not wanting to ruin the merry mood, I merely quicken my pace. I'm not in any clubs, but even I know it's not good to skip. Speaking honestly, I want her to show up for her club as she seems to be respected even by students from other schools. Coming here together like this makes me equally guilty though. Once I get thinking, I usually don't stop, so the conversation shifts to a ramen shop that catches my eye. Oh, Mayu, do you want to get lunch? Huh? You caught that? Feeling as if she'd seen right through me, we head into a nearby coffee shop. It is apparently famous following its coverage in a magazine for a sandwich that was overflowing with vegetables. I say apparently because I'm excitedly finding the restaurant Hino shared this. Compared to a hamburger shop, this place is a bit intimidating and trending to me, but since I'm with Hino, it doesn't bother me. Shoving the roast chicken sandwich with extra olives that I ordered into my mouth, the unease I have been feeling disappears. In contrast to my fervor, Hino eats her avocado and shrimp sandwich in small— oh gosh, this game's making me hungry. Well then, about our plans for today. Hino starts in as soon as we have finished eating. We'll start with the aquarium. No matter what, that's the main thing. So we'll look into the old man's ghost and the closed-off deep-sea fish booth rumors. After that, we'll go to the shops and finally have some ice cream. I think it's better to get the cookies and cream first. If you eat 2 times, you'll mess up your stomach. And get fat, you won't be able to wear a bathing suit. Aw, Hino, it's no fair for you to put it that way. It isn't fair. Hino is in the exercise club, so she'll be fine, but for someone like me who doesn't exercise enough, it makes me stop and think. Having said I wanted to go to the pool, it is all the more important. Okay, then we'll stick to my plan. That was a delicious meal. Urged on by Hino, I decide to leave the ice cream shop for another time. Talking about silly things together, we leave the station behind. As opposed to the station's excellent cooling system, the city streets have a peculiar humidity and heat to them that envelops our bodies. The beginning of July, summer's only just begun and I can already tell it's going to be a tough one. We weave our way through the crowds until we're 10 minutes away from the station, finally ending up in front of a skyscraper. The building is a symbol for the people of Manton, a combined facility for commerce, what you might call a fashion building in reference to the business it contains. Manton is a town known as a place people go for amusement. If you really want to have a good time, they have a movie theater, arcades, and several shops. Though you need to have money, as is customary for going to places for amusement. Because of that, young men and women are more numerous than boys and girls. In this town of people older than us, Hino scans the panels for each floor without fear, saying, the aquarium is... People are concentrated around the panels. Of little help to Hino in trying to take up as little space as possible. I leave the search to her and gaze up at the building. I look up and up, but the top of the building is so far, I think my neck will snap. How's that for foreboding neck snapping? That's magnificent. This building was built not long after I was born. It had been finished before I could walk, but the first and only time I came here was in elementary school. The instant I think back on my first visit, my head begins to hurt. Oh good, spooky, creepy ghost girls. No, I have to try not to think about it. Maybe you should have just said, I'm scared of fish, and just not gone. Those are things from long ago, things from the past, things that are done. I can do nothing but deal with the pain that feels as if something is pressing against the inside of my skull. I finally hear Hino calling me in a loud voice. The elevator's this way, come on! I push away my headache and step through the automatic door. The information at the entrance and the placement of the crane game are exactly the same that day, giving me a slightly bad feeling. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I saw a lot of anime girls there, so this is shaping up to be a good start. Do like me some anime girls.